You're in the kitchen.
Welcome to another Kitchen Conversation live edition. And today we got a special guest, don't we?
This man has been a friend to the kitchen since the beginning. He is, I call him the great mentalist of pickleball. He is as automatic as Ben Johns in winning gold medals on the senior side. And he's just a great friend. And some exciting news. The one and only. Would you like to introduce him?
Dayne Gingrich, let's go. What's up, Dayne?
You guys are out of your mind. You guys are out of your mind. That was if I'm being honest, awkward. You were both a little bit awkward. Were you a little nervous?
I mean, no, I feel great.
We've been rehearsing that all day.
we actually, Jason had no idea when I was going to come in, and I just dropped this in, and I was sharing this to the pickle sphere, and here we are.
It's live. Are you nervous? Are you a little nervous, Jason? Jared?
I don't get nervous. Jared has the yips.
Jason tends to sweat when he gets nervous, and as you can see, there's no sweat yet.
Yeah, there will be. What's up, you guys? Appreciate you having me. It's been a minute. It's been way too long. Thanks for having me. I feel like I should host the show now. Can I introduce?
Yeah, take it away. Take it away,
you guys?
Let's go.
I'm ready. Can I interview you? So, what's the last year been like on the kitchen? With the growth, with the massive. Jason is now 4.5. Jared is still trying to reach 3.2. So you guys are working your butts off. I really admire the hard work. 3.3 is coming, Jared. Just keep working, keep drilling.
I feel like I'm close.
What's this year been like? I mean, you guys are killing it at the kitchen. I mean, the audience share is just a joke. The other place that you were fighting for market share doesn't even exist really, and you guys are crushing it. Congratulations. Seriously, congratulations. It's been amazing.
Thank you. It has been a whirlwind. We haven't fully announced this publicly, but we brought Matt Pickleball Manassi onto the team as VP of Partnerships. Very excited about that. He is a great friend, and we have some very exciting things in the works. Actually, a lot of things that I can't really go into yet, but it's been we've put a very big emphasis on creating content, on expanding our ecosystem, trying to work with players in a more meaningful way to help raise their profiles, working with brands, and just trying to continue to be champions of the sport. And it's been, every day I kind of wake up and I feel so blessed that I get to work in this space that I have so much passion for. So yeah, it's been a wild year. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been great. It's like you, Dan, we're not good enough to play professionally and make a living out of playing pickleball, but we found a way. Yeah, well, that's not necessarily true. But no, I mean, we found a way to be able to do the things that we love, which is pickleball, and be able to follow it and write about it, and just create a business around it. It's been fantastic, a wild ride, and just loving the growth and enjoying every minute of it.
It did take us a year to get a bit more mature with these new shirts, which Jason doesn't have yet, but that's the main thing we were working on over the past 12 months.
Yeah. Well, you're in a perfect storm, man. It seems like things are changing every 2 months, right? Every 2 weeks, really. Things are changing, everything. Right, exactly. And I mean, I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of the ride that's happening with you guys.
I think that was.
We call that feedback. We call feedback in the business.
My bad.
We haven't done live in a while, guys, so we apologize to the kitchen and the pickleball community that's watching this. But so Dayne, enough about us. You you were one of the first people I met in the space, and you've been a mentor to me in a lot of ways, and just a good friend. And I always knew you as kind of Electrum Dayne. I'm a big fan of Electrum. I love the folks over there. And recently you made a pretty massive change. Tell us about it.
Wow. That's an open. Look at that. That's an open, man. Look at my prototype. It's coming. No, look at that little baby. Oh, look at that little baby. I
Look at
hold it
that.
in my hand. I drill with it, practice it. I'm trying to get the lead tape correct. I'm trying to get this thing weighted correctly. Super excited. The new carbon 10.5 from ProXR is fire. But look, man, like people have been asking, what happened? What's the one? Nothing one thing. I think it was just time for growth. Like Mohit, the owner, and we have a great relationship. There wasn't anything that came down that I must leave. It was just, I don't want to get into a ton of details, right?
Yeah.
It was just time. I think it was time for him too, by the sound of our phone call, and it was time for me. And we have still a great relationship. He actually publicly congratulated me when I announced the switch to ProXR. I mean, that's unheard of. That was phenomenal. They gave me a shot before I had done a thing, and he gave me a really good deal, and he's treated me super well. Mohit from Electrum was a superstar and treated me really, really well. I have zero bad feelings. But it's just when I met ProXR, it just kind of the boxes that I needed to be checked moving forward, where I am in my career and as a coach and what I want to do in the future. There was just more boxes that were checked. And Ron and Joe and Jen and the leadership there at ProXR are amazing, professional, super successful, and they're really, I hate saying outside the box, because I truly believe, as cliche it sounds, like there just isn't a box the way they think about growing the sport and what they're willing to do and try and experiment, unafraid of failing and unafraid of putting in money without an ROI, immediate ROI, a positive ROI. And I just think, I love Electrum. I love Mohit. I love the players there. And, and it's, I also love the ProXR team that's growing, and the leadership has been amazing. So it's just, it's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Let me ask you, what was it about ProXR? Obviously, ProXR is known for their handles, right? Like their handle is they got this, funky grip, which is kind of an axe handle, right? Which forces you to play one side forehand, one side backhand. You can't, you can spin it, but you're coming back to the side that you're supposed to come back to, which is really interesting, actually. Tell us about what drew you into that. Is it the handle that did it, or is it the company? Is it the surface?
And for those who don't know, they come from a baseball and hockey background, ProXR, correct?
Correct.
And so they had
these handles on their bats and their hockey sticks, and it forces your hand to be in a really strong position, right? And they're working on, not really sure I'm supposed to say, they're working on they're working on a bunch of things, right? Like they're unafraid to experiment. So honestly,
Dayne, you can say anything you want. We're on a 30-second delay. No problem. Say whatever you want.
You can just dump it. You can dump it. I'll dump
it. I'm in charge of dumping it.
No delay.
Are you for real?
There's no delay.
Well, I'm not sure that the technology I was told about yesterday is public yet. So what they're coming out with a new something also. But honestly, before I even touched the paddle, it was the first conversation I had with the leadership, with Ron and Joe, and then eventually Jen. And I mean, they just kind of blew my mind with what they wanted to do in the sport. And it was just really refreshing, the innovation that they talked about and the family. Like, I just felt like, wow, if I joined the team, like this feels like family, and the way they treat each other and the way, the team's hanging around each other and calling each other, and we're on group and we talk all the time. And it's just, it was a family feel first. And then I said, hey, let me go check out some paddles. And so they sent a carbon, a 10.5 carbon, because I played the paddles that they had, some fiberglass and some combos and some carbon combos and some carbon weaves. And for me, I needed a little bit more pop and a little bit more grit, like a lot of players do. And I asked them, and I think John Sincola was working on a carbon paddle too, and they're doing some things for him. And they sent one over, and I played first day of rec. I played with it. I was done. Like, in the middle of my rec session, after 20 minutes, half hour of playing, I messaged him and I said, this is my paddle. Like, I'm playing with it immediately
as well.
Say again?
I think you messaged
I
me as
texted
well.
you. I messaged everybody that I was allowed to message. I said, this paddle feels so good in my hands. It's a little longer. It still has the grit. It's a tad bit softer, which I really like for specific type of resets. But again, the paddle doesn't mean anything if the leadership wasn't where it is, right? They're just innovators, man, with this super professionalism that comes just dripping off of every conversation that we have. There's never been I'm just not sure we can get it done or it's possible. They always said, we'll get it done. We may not know how or when, it's getting done. And that, to me, the way I think and the way I teach and coach and play, that just spoke right to my DNA.
Yeah, I mean, we've done some work with ProXR, and I really like their team. We've hung out with them at different tournaments. They were in New York, and I can attest to the fact that A, they're really good people. B, they're very smart people. And C, I just think that they are, like you're saying, I think they're quick to innovate, and they are constantly kind of pushing their edges and wanting to see how they can improve their product, improve their brand. So I think everything you're saying makes a lot of sense.
I think because everybody can have carbon now, right? There's not a brand like carbon. There's nothing special. Everybody can get carbon fiber, right? And so then it just becomes about how you make the paddle and their handle. Like, Jason, you showed the big handle. I have them have. Whoops, where's the camera? I have a smaller handle than you, right? I didn't like the big one. I really, really like the smaller handle, and it fits into the palm of my, the big part of my grip that really helps me keep my backhand strong, but it's small enough to allow me to release that and lengthen the grip if I have to let go, right? And then it's carbon and grit, and then the way you weight your paddle, just kind of make it specific to your needs. But again, it doesn't mean anything without the leadership and what their long-term and long-term vision. Forget about the short-term and who is ProXR. We've never heard of them. Like when I was doing the silly teasers, right? Not one person said, "Hey, I know you're going to," which was exactly what I wanted, right? And exactly what we want. We don't want to be the obvious choice. That's not how I play. It's not how I coach. It's not how I live. I want it to be the what? Why are you doing? Like, what are they about? Like, and I think they're going to shock some people. I know they are. It's just going to be a slow drip of a process, and they're going to take control of some market share for sure. Because they're just innovators, and they're unwilling to say no.
I think that's right. I think, we've talked a little bit about it because as Jared mentioned, we've worked with them, and they're an innovation company more so than a handle company. And, what started as a handle is their first innovation. I think that's just the beginning. I think that they'll expand beyond the handles and, get into other, innovative paddles. And this one, for instance, is let me open this thing up, but this is the story, which was one side fiberglass, one side carbon fiber. So, playing two different sides, which, I think really clever because of the handle, which keeps it always on the same side. So it's not, it's hard when you're playing a paddle that you can flip around. You don't know which side is which. But if you know that one side is going to hit a little bit poppier, the other side is going to have a little bit more grit, that's a kind of cool innovation.
And that's just interesting, right? Whether it works or not, whether people love it or not, who cares? Like, it's just, who thought of that? Like, that's crazy in a good way. Like, carbon on one side and fiberglass the other on the other. Like, what? Like, why would you do that?
We have a question. We have a question from a user. It says Facebook user. I don't know who it is. What's the standard weight? Do you know?
It's lighter. So I have to weight the carbon I have. It's definitely below 8. I'm going to guess 7, 8, but I would rather start light and move up because you can weight the paddle rather than starting heavy. Some other brands have it very heavy. It's you can't make it light, right?
Well, you can use helium tape.
Let's have it float. What's up, Beth?
Right. Beth just said congrats. I don't know if you saw that. There it is. Obviously you did.
We went to war. We went to war at TOC. She's a beast. So
we'll come back to ProXR. How was TOC? How's the year been?
It's been awesome, man. Like, it's just living the dream, and I take nothing for granted. Every tournament, I just feel like an underdog. Every tournament, I don't care what the seed is. I don't care who my partners are. I just always feel like the underdog. I always feel like I'm going to get beat. I always feel like anybody at any time can beat anybody at this level, right? I mean, things got to go right. But I just think it's been fun to always just battle. I just love to battle. Even more than the battle this year, I've learned a lot of how to train and how to recover properly. And a lot of my routines have changed and improved, like coming back from TOC, long week, airplane, plane rides. I have zero pain anywhere. And I met a new freaking healer, chiropractor, miracle worker woman who's just completely changed everything. So more than the actual tournaments and the medals, etc., like the process of the grind is what the most fun for me is.
Has it been
that out.
Same grind, same preparation, day of, still just hyper focus? Has any of it changed, or still same old Dayne is madness?
The tournament prep, the week before, the day of, those are all the same, where I just go into a black hole. I don't really socialize a whole lot. Don't go out to dinner. Just get into my own little world. The weeks before, they have changed a little bit. I've learned how to train better, more efficiently, and learned a lot about my body and what it likes and what it doesn't like. Because I'm all about more. And I'm going to shout out Jill Martin, my co-author for our book coming up, and my yoga instructor and friend and mentor really has just beaten me down to say, dude, slow down. Like, less is more for you. No, more is more. I'm going to stretch for 4 hours. She's like, no, you need to just stretch for an hour. Just calm down. And so learning how to do less to make my body feel better has been a challenge.
When is the book coming out, by the way? And what is the book? Can you plug that a little bit?
Yeah, the book is called Lessons from the Court. It's co-authored by a student, friend, again, mentor, teacher of mine as well, Jill Martin, Pickleball Yogi on Facebook. We don't have a release date. We're intertwining, instead of just having the book be about my coaching philosophies and you do this and do this and do this, we'll have that, but we're going to intertwine her story within it. So she's living the real life in real time, 4-0 / trying to get to 4-5 player that the vast majority of players are, right, in the world, from 3-0 to 4-5. And she's kind of opening up and being really vulnerable and transparent about her struggles mentally, physically, emotionally within the process of how to learn, right? And she was an attorney. You wouldn't talk about type A perfectionist, freaking work on the wall for 3 hours if you ask her to, trying to figure out that process within. And so we're putting my coaching philosophies in real time with her, her real time process day to day. And we're taking it's going to be a phenomenal book. We're being really patient with it because we don't want to rush it. We want to make it really good. And we're going to include other people's stories in the book too, with their grind and what they're going through. So it's going to be really kind of special. It's going to be amazing.
Love it. Awesome. We have another question from a Facebook user.
I might know who that is. Listen, that started the pump fist and knee thing. That started because I was going into the kitchen when I did it. So like I would pull my leg. It's so silly. I'm talking about something so silly. I would fist pump and then pull my leg around to make sure I didn't go into the kitchen. And so the only way that I didn't drag my foot into the kitchen was to raise my knee to do that. And then it just turned into this whirl thing. I didn't even know I'm doing it. Now I'm super self-conscious about it. Everybody keeps
sending me
videos. They loop it. I look so stupid, but it just feels, if I didn't do that, I'd fall into the kitchen because I pump a lot. And
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't even seen it. So
I'm not going to show you. I will not show you. Yeah.
We have a loop coming. It's we're going to put it on a couple of reels 24/7.
It's coming.
ESPN Ocho will be playing that on a loop.
Yeah, the Ocho baby.
So tell us about Tournament of Champions. You came away with 2 golds. You crushed it. You and Dave. Was that the last match you and Dave were playing before you switched partners? Is that right?
What are you talking about? I didn't announce I'm switching partners. What are you talking about? I'm playing with Dave all the rest of the year. Oh, with Jason.
Yeah, I thought you were playing with me.
That's 2023. You and I are partnering next year. Dave and I got to finish the schedule. Dave's gonna be
I want to make sure Dave knows.
Jason directly. Dave and I are finishing out the year, and then come 2023, you and I are playing 24 events in a row.
100%.
Senior pro. Yeah.
What am I doing?
You're playing. Well, you're grinding your ass off at 3-5.
I'm filming it.
3-5 locals, filming it, and writing. And you're going to write a tutorial on our play.
All right.
Yeah. No, TOC was amazing, right? Teamed up with Dave Weinbach and the beast that is Jen Dawson. Line those two up and just let them go. It was super hot, 98 plus degrees, and it got crazy windy. And then we had some weather on the last day of mix, which gave us a 3.5 hour rain delay. And Jen and I had to come back at 9 right out of the car and got stomped by Eva and Scott Moore in the winner's final. And then had to make our way back around as we got used to the darkness and got a little bit more warmed up and changed our game plan a little bit. And TOC is always
stop. What were the scores?
Well, I mean, it was 11-9, 11-9, but it was really 11-9, and then they were up 10-1 in the second game, and we somehow got it back to 10-9, and then
my stompings looked a little different than 11-9, 11-9.
Yeah, but it felt like 11-9, 11-1. It just felt like a stomping. We couldn't get into a groove, and they played great. They came out with a nice power, chaotic game plan that worked for a second, and they kicked our freaking butts. And we had to adjust a couple things, and we came back and got fortunate to win the gold in the 15 game. But they're amazing players, and Beth and Rick Witskin grabbed bronze. They could obviously win every tournament they play. So anytime you're fortunate to get on a podium, like, just be super grateful. I'm just super grateful. Forget gold, silver, bronze. Like, obviously I want to win. But dude, it's hard. It's hard because it takes a lot of focus, man.
Let me ask you a question. You kind of want to touch on something that you said a few minutes ago about that no matter the seed, you always view yourself as the underdog.
Yeah.
Do you think that is the mentality that all players should go into a tournament with, or even a rec game?
Not necessarily. I think it's really individual. That's a great question. I think it's very individual. For me, what I've learned with my other past athletic career, if I don't do that, I let up, right? Then I get cocky and I stop focusing. So when I find myself as the underdog, and really, like, in pickleball, anybody can beat anybody, right? This whole, like, you guys are going to win all the time, says who? Like, anybody can beat anybody at that level. To answer your question, no, I think it's very individual. I think you have to be super self-aware of how you respond. Are you the player that if you do that, you'll let down? Do you need a chip on your shoulder? Do you need, like, to feel like everybody's coming at you? And they are, right? They're coming at Dave and I for good reason, right? We've been really blessed and fortunate to win some tournaments. So of course they are. But if I don't feel like that, then I won't wake up early and do my stuff that I got to do. And I won't stay up late and study film and stretch and work on flex. If I feel like I'm always the favorite, then I will not do the things that need to be done. I just look for reasons. I just always kind of want to look for reasons why I'm going to lose.
Speaking of Rick Witskin, I can see who is asking this question I'm watching, on Facebook. This is Rick. How valuable are pro seniors to pro pickleball?
First off, let me say Rick is one of my best friends on tour. We go at it like freaking crazy people on the court, yelling and screaming at each other. And he freaking, when I exhale, he exhales to mock me. Dude is a psychopath, but in a good way. Love him. I think, it's sensitive. I think, first off, I hate the word senior. It makes us sound like we're 105.
Champions.
I think a lot. Champions, I think that's getting changed to the champions, I think. Yep, soon. At least definitely for the APP, it's getting changed to the Champions Tour. Although I'm not a champion. Dave's a champion. Jen's a champion. Go down the list to the Hall of Famers that are still playing, that are champions. But I like it better than the seniors. And I think
that's what it's going to be called, Champions Tour?
Yeah, we're going to get rid of the word senior for sure. Yeah. So I wanted Masters because I don't feel like a champion or a legend. I definitely
you didn't want to go with like Old Fogies Tour, or
no. I voted for Diapers Tour, but they wouldn't do it. Huggies. I voted for the top senior Huggies Tour. I think senior pro pickleball is important for the sport. I think the majority, obviously the game's getting younger, of course, but I just was, teaching 1,000 hours of clinics today, and everybody was older than 40. Everybody, 100%. And I think not that they don't relate. I don't want to diminish Ben and Riley and Matt. Of course, they're amazing, and obviously they're amazing players. And I'm not saying by any stretch that we should be on a live stream all day, every day. Of course not. But I think we have a role in it. I think a lot of the players that are out here learning the game can relate to us old dudes still battling and competing and playing well. So I think we play a huge part. Now, Do I think Ben plays a giant part in those young kids playing? Yeah, they play a huge part in the growth of the sport as well. But I don't think it should be binary. I don't think it should be only Ben and not us. And I definitely obviously don't think it should just be us. But I think we have a role in it for sure.
So let me ask you this.
All right, Jason. Sorry. What? Okay, go ahead. I'll pull in.
I was gonna say, I think there's one. Obviously the APP. I feel like caters more to the champions.
Yeah, it's not official yet, but eventually, yeah.
But, I feel like there's a little bit more love for them on the APP than there is on the PPA. This week was a PPA event. You're not playing tons of PPA events.
None.
Well, this week, right?
If I'm being honest though, I registered for TOC because it was an individual non-sanctioned. It wasn't a PPA or APP last year. We all registered. We had all the top seniors out there except for a couple because it wasn't affiliated with another tour, right? Which we loved. And they treated us like gold last year too. They treated us pretty well. The payouts last year were amazing because it wasn't a PPA event. And so, yeah, this year is PPA. And again, like, I don't want to be the guy out here just slamming tours, but yeah, they don't, I mean, honestly, and they've said it, they don't care. They just don't care about us.
But here's fine. The thing. Like, Dayne, but the more people that the PPA can bring in through the pros, the more eyeballs that you'll have when you're playing APP or playing US Open, MLPs bringing eyeballs. I mean, everybody serves a purpose in the space, and
everybody does.
Everybody has to do what they feel is best for their brand. I think all the tours, all the brands, we all have warts. And I think that, I understand your perspective. I really do. But I also think that, we're all growing this together in our own ways, right?
Well, I wish it felt like that. And I, by no means, look, I am not a PPA hater. They've taken the pro off of our name. They put us to the side courts. The streaming court at TOC wasn't even on the PPA channel. It was some random freaking Utah VOD. I mean, it's obvious, and they've said it, which is fine. That's the route they're going. But we also have a choice to whether we want to put money to them, and we don't, right? Yeah. It's okay. It doesn't mean they don't have a role. They have an important role. If they're the route that they're going, they're growing the sport. The live PPA lives, the energy and the crowds are amazing, right? They're amazing, and the players, Ben and the Waters and Matt and Riley this week, right, as they upset the Johns, like, the crowds were amazing, and they bring that, and that's awesome. But I'm not like they just kind of flip us the bird pretty much, especially with payouts, and so we have a choice to where we play there or not, and we choose not to. It doesn't mean they're a bad tour; they're just not the tour for us, and Fair. They don't want us to be there. They don't want us to represent their tour. Which is cool. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Fair. So you just mentioned the Ben and Colin and Matt and Riley. You might not call it an upset, I think, and I don't even know if the seeds called it an upset. I think there was, Matt and Riley were the one, right?
That's right. And they beat them last time they played.
Year, I think.
Right, but a lot of people.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They just played.
Oh, in the Selkirk thing, or.
Yeah, Ben and Colin won. So I haven't been able to watch it yet. I haven't been able to find it. They won on CBS Sports, that one.
Right, that was kind of not a sanctioned event. That was a.
You think they didn't want to win that match? No,
that was money on national TV. I mean, come on.
That counts. Well, the last tournament they played in, the last kind of sanctioned tournament that they played in Atlanta, Riley and Matt beat them in 5.
Yep.
Right. In this game, this match, I mean, you watched it. Were you there, or did you watch it?
No, I watched it. You have feedback in. I watched it.
We don't hear feedback.
Okay, I watched it recorded. I watched it later on YouTube when I got back. Colin texted me. Matt texted me. It's so funny. I didn't even know the results until they texted me. And so I went and checked it out, and it's obvious what Matt and Riley wanted to do, and it's obvious that Ben came out smoking, right? He was like,
Dude.
I think he got really aggressive, knowing that they would get aggressive, and it worked. 11-4, I think, 11-5 in the first game, 11-4, whatever.
11-4 first game.
Yeah, and then something happened. I don't know I don't know if there was some wind change. I don't know if there was how the wind was affecting play. It was getting cold also, but it was obvious. Matt and Riley just decided we're not going to allow them to have any rhythm at the kitchen and get into this long kind of intentional dinking where Ben can maneuver the ball and start roaming and really kind of create space, which creates his offense, which allows Colin to be super solid on his spot and to slide or do his pancake. And Riley and Matt were like, nope, 2-3 dinks max. Like, did it go more than 5 dinks ever? And they just chose to bring the heat to Ben's backhand and force Ben to out reset them forever, because Ben leans so heavy middle to that forehand. It's really hard to squash middle with that heavy forehand and still get over and counter with the two-handed backhand. You kind of have to choose one. Right. So, and which is why he tends to reset quite a bit.
So Dayne, you've been preaching, aggression, right? Like take the advantage when it's presented to you, no matter what it is. If you feel like you have a 60% chance of winning that point, take it, right? And so they took that to the extreme because they never, and I think it was almost a setup. They lost that first game, Matt and Riley.
On purpose.
Because, well, what happened was it took him out of the game. I mean, Ben, and I had, it's funny because I've been cutting a reset for this, but Ben was hitting the ball as hard as he possibly could in that first game. And they crushed him. They 11-4, but swinging, as hard as he possibly could. And that's just something you don't typically see from Ben. It's usually, like you said, it's the intentional dinking. It's moving them around and giving him the space to operate. But he was hitting the ball. It was almost like they would come at him, he'd hit it back at them, and it like kind of set the tone. It was like an anchor. It set him up. And the next game they rolled. Right. And then the third game was a coin toss, quite honestly. And they got lucky. But
10-8.
But Ben.
Yeah.
10-8. No, wasn't it?
10-8.
Right, but did Colin hit? Wasn't there some? I tuned out for a minute. But wasn't there a lob that Colin?
No, so at 10-8, sorry, at 10-8, Matt and Riley, I don't know, one of them hit, and they thought they hit Colin, and they had no challenges left. And so they were left, and it went back to, or I guess it was second serve for Matt and or for Colin and Ben. And that was when Ben it was a net cord, and he came down and he hit it into the net and gave them back the serve, and it went back and forth a couple of times, but they ended up taking that game. It was a crazy game. that third game was as good as it gets, but tons of speed ups, like crazy amount of speed ups.
They're showing you, and I've been saying this for a year, and it's only going to get faster. It doesn't mean we're not going to dink. We have to dink. It's the kitchen. We're going to have to dink, but we're going to be dinking differently with different types of intentions, and we're going to be pulling the trigger from different places than we have before. It's just going to be, are you going to go experiment with those options before they're known, or are you going to wait for them to be known and be known in the community as something that's okay, and then you're going to fall back, you're going to fall in line and do it second hand? And are you gonna be the person waiting for the iPhone at 3 a.m. and just wait? Or are you gonna wait until that brand new iPhone has been proven for 2, 3, 4, 6 months and then go buy it, right? And I've just been preaching, dude, just experiment, especially if you have a carbon, any of the new carbon, preferably the ProXR carbon 10.5. It's a great paddle. You have a paddle that you can pull some offense out. Start experimenting. Stop winning all your rec games. Stop worrying about what your partners are saying that they can't believe you pulled the trigger off of your shins. Like, start practicing it. It's happening, and you create a huge edge when you learn how to execute it. The challenge is, and it's just so hard to write about, articulate it without writing a novel in every post that I do. The tough part is just dancing on that line between reckless and aggressive. And everybody has a different line that they're trying to dance on. As you saw, Matt and Riley, right? I'm not advising all the 4-0 players and 4-5 players that I teach to do what Matt and Riley did at every single forehand attack straight ahead. If it's working, do it. But the game isn't dink or attack. It's dink and attack, with the exclamation point being on, you better be able to attack and counterattack, or you're going to get run over. It's just a matter of figuring out how and when and who and where. And what spin, what trajectory, what pace.
I think what you just said there is really important. The counterattack also, right? Because if you can attack all you want, but that ball might be coming right back at you, and if you're not ready for it, you look like an idiot.
That's part of the attack game as well. It's not just the first initiator, although the first initiator has all the perfect information, as we talk about ad nauseum, right? I know who I'm attacking, where I'm attacking, what speed, what spot, because I know all of that. I know probably where your response is going to come. So the initiator does have a huge advantage, but learning how to counterattack, and now, I spent some time drilling with Colin at TOC, and he's really helping me more with a different look that I'm going to start experimenting with. The dude is like, he and I just freaking love talking with that guy. We get along so well. We talk about freaking crazy data. He's just opened my eyes to some different counterattack options. You cannot just be a resetter, right? On every attack. There are definitely times where you have to reset, but if you're getting attacked and just resetting, you're very vulnerable. And why would I stop attacking you, right? Why would Matt stop attacking Ben if Ben doesn't put two hands on that thing and come over the top and freaking smack him in the neck with his two-hander, right? And I think that's where Matt and Riley just are putting their chips right now. Until Ben comes with his two-hander every time, I'm just going to keep attacking that side and make Ben guess.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. So this question is: would you partner with Ben? I'm assuming the answer is yes.
I have.
I know.
Well, I have.
Okay,
yeah.
but I want to actually I
played the majority of the court. Just for the record, I played the majority of the court when Ben, because I'm sending this to Ben at the U.S. Open a couple years ago. I played the majority of the court, and I kept his little butt in the left-hand corner, and I said, Ben, you just let me have my middle backhand. You just stay over there. So yes.
But I wanted to kind of amend this question. So the question is, would you rather partner with Ben or Colin? And you have to answer.
Well, I mean, Ben is the best player in the world still.
You hear that, Colin?
Now,
hurtful.
If it was now, let's put it with: do you want to win every, or have a chance to win as many matches? I don't know if Ben could take me to the podium at that level, to the gold for sure. But as far as off the court training, comparing notes, FaceTiming, talking with Colin, it's Colin all day. Colin and I think the same way. We freaking break the game down the same way. We draw freaking diagrams of stuff. We're just insane. Colin for sure. But I mean, Ben's still the best player in the world. Riley's getting close though. I think Riley's like, Riley might have issue with that statement.
So Dan, what do you think about, so when we talk about the counterattack and making that choice, obviously it's split-second decision because you don't see the attack coming, but being prepared for that and trying to attack the partner that attacked you, right? Because they are as blind as anybody. They don't know the attack's coming. How do you prepare for that? How do you drill for that?
How do you drill? Give me the question again. So the person that's attacking, his partner doesn't know the attack is coming. Is that what you said?
Correct.
Is that what you mean? Well, that's actually false. Like if my partner, so we're both attacking, I want my partner to assume that I'm always attacking, right? To take a little peek at me and to see where my paddle, am I in dink mode or am I in attack mode, or just straight assume that I'm always going to, if I'm playing with, whomever, right? I'm always looking for my partner to attack, right? I'm always being ready. And it's that triangle thing, right? For the most part, we're going to be attacking straight ahead, maybe a little down the middle. There's some cross attacks that we can do from certain situations, certain positions on the court. But for the most part, it's going middle to the inside hips, outside hips, down the line, et cetera. So I'm always staring at that player and creating a triangle between my partner and I to the player in front of my partner if he's attacking. Does that make sense? So if does that make sense? So my partner is, let's just say my partner's on the right. And because he better be. Just kidding. I'm staring at the player in front of my partner, assuming that my partner is attacking that ball and the ball is going to come and respond back to me, right? So there's constantly this triangle. So I should never be surprised. If I'm surprised, my partner should be pissed, right? And then if my partner chooses to dink, who cares? I'm ready. I'm always ready.
What's your take on this comment right here from
what's the comment?
Actually from Frank Ngo Pickleball.
I mean, that's just singles. That's like saying Kobe can't be the best football player because he was the best basketball. It's just a completely different sport, right? Ben won't be the best singles player soon, right? Period. Like the guys are going to be coming in and going to be testing him. He's still by far the best doubles player in the world and best mixed player in the world. And he's still the best singles player in the world, still. But just because Riley doesn't play singles doesn't mean he's not the best doubles player in the world.
It's fair. Another interesting.
I'm not saying Riley. I'm not saying Riley is the best doubles player in the world. I'm saying that Riley. I'm saying that Riley is like, you saw it this weekend. Riley doesn't show him respect, right? Riley doesn't bow down to Ben, and he finger wags him and comes, and talks crap to him and does the paddle tap. Some say disrespectfully, but Riley's all business, right? Riley is like basketball mindset. We're like, you're not my friend. And I believe I'm coming, and I believe I'm catching up to you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Riley is all business, that's for sure.
Riley's a beast, and I got super grateful to play with him at the U.S. Open this year, and he's better than I thought he was. He's better than I thought he was.
Hang on, let's get to this question real quick. So Eric Lulov, what in your opinion is the best in-game way to talk to your partner about change of strategy without upsetting the balance?
You make it about us. We just make it about we. Right? The worst thing we can do is make it about you, or you just make it about, it has to be about we. Let's you and I change X, right? We have to get it down at their feet. Even if your partner popped it up, a bunch of times in this certain spot, we have to make sure to get it down in this spot. We have to make sure that, and I don't think adjustments are talked about enough in the game. I mean, Dave and I, Jen and I, Rick and I when we play, Beth and I when we play, Scott Crandall and I when we play, all the partners, we're talking about adjustments almost every point, if not every other point.
Is me telling Jason to stop lobbing and yelling at him for missing a serve, is that an adjustment?
Did you see how many lobs Matt hit in that match?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I started that, by the way.
You did. He's working on that. Lucy's doing it too. Colin and I played some rec. Rick and I played some rec against Lucy and Matt before TOC, and they were working on that, driving us freaking crazy. And I hate to give Lucy Kovalov a compliment, but damn it, she's hitting our lob well. And Matt is just a monster. Matt is so much. Until you play straight up with Matt, until you're on the court with Matt, you don't know how good he is. He is. I think
Matt is so good. Especially for him looking like, my accountant. Like, it's amazing.
He is the attorney. I mean, he doesn't practice. We talk about drilling. He hates drilling. He just got natural gifts. He's a student. I think he's smart. He obviously thinks about the game. Love texting with him about certain matchups and stuff. The guy can talk about it forever. The dude's hands are so sick. Yeah, his attack game is so disgusting. Yeah. He's so good. If he was 20, he'd be number one in the world.
He's great.
He's still top 3.
He's one of my favorite players to watch.
Still Ben Riley.
Scott Lippitz here said Riley didn't do anything in mixed. I'm just kidding. It's not Scott. It's Mark Stemmerman. He said your argument's weak.
Well, I mean, so mixed. Who he was playing with Lindsay, and I don't know how much they've been playing. Ben is playing with the best woman in the world right now. So the way mixed rolls, if you're at that level, especially, is that my argument is weak. I didn't say Riley's the best player in the world, but he's number 2. Or if you want to put Matt in front of him, which maybe you could after this weekend. I just think Riley brings more to the table athletically. I didn't say he's number 1, but I said he's coming. And Riley, what I'm saying is that Riley thinks that he's as good as Ben, if not better. I'm putting words in Riley's mouth, but I know Riley's mindset. He definitely doesn't think he's freaking worse, right?
Sure.
But the way mixed works, right?
You can just tell the way he is on the court. I mean,
he's a monster, and just drilling, and he's just drilling with him and going to dinner with him after the U.S. Open and our conversations. The dude ain't drinking, smoking, partying, socializing. He's training, and he's playing, and that's all he's doing. But to answer his question, if he had Annalie, he would win. He would have won mixed, period. I mean, Lindsay's amazing, and he's beaten Ben and Simone with Lindsay before. But Annalie and Ben, Annalie's a different player. She's a monster.
There's way too much men poaching in mix. I mean, it's just getting absurd.
We're gonna start that combo.
Don't do that.
We're not doing that combo.
I'm kidding. The women seem to attack more a step or two back off the line, says Robert Belmonte. Are the men headed in that direction?
No, I think the men are. I think. Who did we see at one of the events? Rob Newell, right? He's kind of he's the lefty that attacks and drives everything and attacks.
Ben
amazing.
Newell?
I think. Oh yeah, Ben. Sorry. He's going to be the player that comes up times 100, right? It's going to be that style. And it's going to be crush, rush, crush again, reset here and there, dink here and there. It's going to be crush, crush, crush. The men are just physiologic. They're just longer and stronger. They're not going to back off the line. They're actually going to crowd the line. It's going to get Deckel's going to be short in a few years, just like tennis, right? Everybody's 6'4" to 6'11" now. The women will probably stay off the line with their two-handers, although I've been coaching a top woman, and we're having her not do that as much because I want her to play Elise Jones. I'm not actually sure I'm allowed to say that. I don't know if that is like an NDA. I don't know if she wants people to know.
Jason is a huge Elise Jones fan. I think she's amazing.
She's the most fun beast. Female to watch, I think.
Listen, like now I've said it. I haven't publicly said it. I didn't know if she wanted anyone knowing. She wanted to keep that under the radar, but screw it. Now that I've said it, dude, Elise is a beast, and I'm predicting huge stuff. I don't want to give a number because I don't think I want to put a ceiling. I don't think there is a ceiling on that. She is freaking so good. She trains her face off, and she is just a student of the game. For what is she, 5'2", 5'3"?
Her power
is
for
ridiculous.
her size is insane.
But her never give up this. It's the willingness to hit the floor that you just don't see out of people in pickleball, and
Rob,
that's that brings a whole different thing. It's that volleyball mentality.
Rob Cassidy.
Rob's a beast too.
So this Facebook user, said, I'm just super ADD right now. I'm loving this. I love just
that's fine.
peppering you with comments and questions.
Love it.
JW Johnsony. It's a new player on the tour. JW Johnsony.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah. He's number 2.
You
he's
can't
wrong.
discount
he's wrong. He's not number 2. No, I'm not. No, but he's not number 2 yet. He's not number 2 yet. He's an amazing player. He's not number 2 yet. He's not number 2 yet. I didn't say he wasn't good. The guy's freaking a monster. But he's not number 2 yet. You can't put him 1 and you can't put him 2, and I'm taking Matt over J-Dub still. And then if you want to argue J-Dub, Deckel, Colin, you ask Colin, he says his number. J-Dub's great. J-Dub's amazing. He's not number 2 yet. Does it mean he won't be? And it doesn't mean he won't be number 1, but he's not there yet. Until he plays he's crushing the APP, and he podiumed. Well, I don't remember what tournament it was. In a huge PPA event, he and Dylan, I think, got either second or third. So those dudes can play. Right?
Dylan's interesting.
I love Dylan. I think Dylan is still underrated. I think he's underrated just because he doesn't pass the eye test as like the tennis player, right? He's still underrated. And those guys,
were you there on Saturday at the TSC?
No, I was in the air. I was flying home. Yeah.
Dayne, how are you on time? Yeah. Jason, how are you on time? We have people coming and joining. I'm really enjoying this. Jay, we got some more time to wrap. We good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Everybody,
keep asking questions. Sorry, Dayne. Kitchen community and people tuning in from other communities, continue with the questions. Loving it. Thank you for your participation and for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Sorry, what were you saying?
I want to say on the J-Dub thing, I would love to see he and Dylan, or he's playing with Deckel or more, but I know Deckel won't. But I would just love to, to that argument that the person said he's number 2. I would love to see him battle the PPA all the time and battle. I think they can do both, right? He didn't sign with the PPA, but he can still play any tournament he wants, right? Come on out. He would do. I mean, to do the podium, and then let's prove that he's better. Let's put him up and put he and Dylan or he and whoever up against Matt and Riley and Ben and Colin regularly. And then when he beats them, then we can say he's number 2 or number 1 or wherever. Right? The dude is freaking, and he's such a cool kid too. Like, he's shy when you get to know him. He's super cool. His hands, I will say, and I believe it, I think his hands are faster and stronger than Ben. I think he's got the fastest and strongest hands in the game.
He's also so like stoic, or I don't know if that's the right word. He's so he kind of shares a similar thing to Ben, where I feel like they are so dialed in and they don't really get rattled, and I think it was interesting watching Ben and Colin versus Riley and Matt. Ben and Colin don't show the emotion that those other dudes do, right? And
but they did this time,
but not to the extent where
but it wasn't positive emotion. They had emotion, between themselves. It felt like there were eye rolls. There was bad body language. It was not a great example of how teammates should be playing, because there wasn't, like you said, going back and saying we should be doing this. It was a lot of like, oh, like you let me down here. That's what it felt like watching it. Where Riley,
imagine playing with your brother,
fist pumping.
But imagine playing with your older brother or your younger brother, and like these guys have been, they train every day together. Like, I think it's tough to probably for a positive and a detriment that it really helps them and hurts them.
I think it helps.
That's like my brother. We want to kill each other after like 2 minutes.
I know. I think it's what makes them unique. I think it helps them way more than it hurts them. They only train together. They only drill together 6 days a week. Everything they do is together. They talk the game together. They're like twins pretty much. But, you can get on each other's nerves a little bit. And I think Ben was going for the Triple Crown. I think Riley was pissing him off a little bit. Matt was a little bit more Matt style, right? I think Matt's tried to be a little bit more calm and not wanted to get into it a little bit. But I think, when Riley, I imagine, right, I've had a conversation with him about it, but when Riley started seeing that they were eye rolling or they were separating a little bit emotionally, I think that just has to give you more confidence. And that's why it's so important for the 3-0s to 4-5s that are listening. Like, it's just so important that you stay connected with your partner emotionally. Look, we have all eye rolled. We've all get upset when we miss, but you got to understand that for every negative emotion that I give my partner, that I give to the crowd, I'm giving to my opponents as well. And so I'm giving them free confidence. And I think that's what was happening is Ben, it was getting annoying, right? Ben got annoyed, period, right? And then Colin, it bled onto Colin, and it was obvious that Ben was pissed off at Colin, and Colin felt it. Maybe Colin felt tight. But on the other side of the court, you had Matt and Riley that's noticing all of it and was saying to themselves, dude, we got them. They're pissed at each other. We got them. There's not a better feeling on the court that when you and your partner see your opponents breaking and separating, there's not a better feeling than that. Match is over when that happens. And I think it's just so important. What's that?
Did you see the stat that the third shot went to, or no, the return to serve went to Riley every single time? I mean, I think two times it went to Matt, and like 62 times went to
really.
That's a great strategy, because Matt is known for his third drop, but he can also crush his drive, and you keep Riley back, right? If you give Matt a third, he's never missing his drop, number one. But if he decides to rip his forehand, then you have Riley at all 6'3" or 6'4" of him crashing the center. That's death, right? So you give Riley the third. He's never going to miss it. But even if he decides to drive his two-hander, it's not giant, right? It's not going to hurt you. And Matt's not going to be flying all over the court from the right side either, because they're stacking, right? So Matt's always on the right. And Matt's not going to come and fly across the court with his backhand. So that's perfect strategy, and it's something that is not going to stop.
It's amazing how much you process. Like, I just watch the sport. Let me ask you a question.
But it didn't work. I mean, like, when it's not working, they stuck to it, right? So game 3 goes either way. But when game 4 rolls around and it's not working, at some point, don't you feel like hey, maybe
for those tuning in right now, we're talking about the Ben, Colin, Riley, Matt gold medal match from TOC.
What's not working though? You mean returning to Riley? It kept working.
No, they were losing.
Oh, they were losing. Yeah. I mean, you could argue that you could definitely. Now that I agree, right? You could definitely argue that there needed to be adjustments quicker. Maybe you do that, but at the same time, like, what does it not working mean? Was Riley winning points on a crush and rush, shake and bake? Was he winning points on a drop and then Ben would come over and crack a winner? Not really. Like, they weren't winning any points because they were returning to Riley. They were winning points because they kept freaking dinking to Matt's forehand and Riley's backhand. I think that there is a big adjustment to be made. I just think they got to go back to their bread and butter, which is dinking middle to Riley's forehand. He can't hurt you with his forehand off the bounce yet.
Let me ask you a question. Sorry, I'm ADD. So Ben and Matt used to play together, right? How much do you think that, and this is kind of more like a meta question, when players used to play together, Jesse and Catherine, or Al and whoever.
Hey, can we talk about that for a second? No, let's not talk about that.
How much does that affect someone's, like, do you think people end with like animosity? Someone obviously broke up with the other person. Do you think that Matt, when he's out there, is like, F you, Ben, I'm coming at you? No,
not. I mean, I think there are partnerships that are that way, that have broken up.
Who?
We can talk about it.
Name the top 5. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to say. That's none of my business. I definitely think that partnerships come and go, and I think there can be animosity for sure. But this specific one with Ben and Matt, no. Matt, they're good friends, and Matt knows. He's like, damn, I wish he didn't have a brother, because they'd probably still be playing together, right? And so, no, there's no animosity. I think it's very strategic. Not only see the things that we don't see, the things behind the scenes, and the things, Matt and Colin during our rec session were talking about what was going to happen. I'm going to do this, and you can't stop it. Well, I'm going to do this, and everybody knows everything. I think it's the other stuff, the emotional breakdown, I'm going to get under his nerves, or is he going to do this, or how can we separate Colin and Ben, or can we make Riley play too aggressively? I think the subtleties of the mental and emotional game is where that match was not won just because Ben's backhand. Let's just make that clear. It's what we see with our eyes. That match was won because Ben and Colin separated emotionally. They were pissed, or Ben was pissed, or whatever. They were definitely not as connected as they had been. And then that gives Matt and Riley crazy confidence, which makes them even more connected and more like in love with their strategy. And it's just compound interests, right? And then you have Colin that's tight and he doesn't want to make a mistake because he doesn't want Ben to get mad. Ben's going for the Triple Crown. He's getting attacked. He knows he's getting attacked. He knows people are going to talk about it. There's all kinds of stuff that's happening. The match was won mentally and emotionally, not just because Matt was attacking. Freaking Matt played lights out, as did Riley. And obviously it doesn't piss Ben off if Matt doesn't play that well, but still, like you said, Ben and Colin could have won game 3 and that match could have changed. So
someone's, I don't know what tournament they're talking about. 6 judges. This is Billy Malda. Is this APP? I'm assuming. From
I don't know. I don't know that answer. Sorry.
I think there was some sketchy line calls by a player, and so they added more. That's my recollection. I could be wrong. I don't know.
That was not Georgia calling for that I'm aware of. I know the match that they're talking about.
I don't know anything about that.
Judges.
All right. What else?
I don't know. Like, I think it's really important, as we are as 3-5 to 4-5 players, 5-0 players are learning the game, that I think it's really important that we keep experimenting, keep being unafraid to be different, keep being unafraid of having our partners in rec be pissed off at us, or what I hear all the time. Well, if I do this or that, no one's going to want to play with me. I promise they're going to want to play with you after you get really good, because you keep doing this or that, because you keep experimenting. Then everybody's going to ask you to play.
I feel like people only play with me because I'm one of the kitchen guys.
It's definitely no one wants to play with your 3-1 ass. So Jason, on the other hand, with his almost 5-0 game,
he revolutionized the sport. So for recovery, we are doing a giveaway right now. For those who have not entered, you're ridiculous if you haven't. But we're doing a giveaway for an all expense paid trip to the PPA the PPA Championships in Las Vegas, plus a signed paddle of your choice from Dayne, Callie, Tyson, Lee, and Jay DeVilliers. Plus,
or is it or?
It's
or.
It's an or. So they're going to choose you. And then it's a 30-minute.
They're absolutely not choosing me, guaranteed.
No, some people might. Some people said they might. And then it's a 30-minute private video lesson, which I don't know if you discuss your rates, but I know it's not cheap. And even just the fact that you're just shedding so much knowledge right now, like people who aren't tuning into this I don't get it. And then the last thing is a 32-ounce pump bottle of AloMD, which we are partnered with them. They do pay us, but it has changed my life. Seriously, my knees used to be so bad. I slather that stuff on my knees before and after I play. And it has changed my life. And I know it's also changed your life. I don't know if you want to talk about LMD or recovery.
LOMD has been, so I found them at La Quinta last year, and then Christopher Hardy, the owner, said, "Hey, my back was seized up after a long day of playing. I was headed over to the my hotel and had a next day I was going to have to wake up early and play. And I was like hunched over. I jacked up my back on an ATP, and he said, "Dude, I'm the owner of LOMD. I got this new cream." And I said, "Yeah, whatever, dude. Like everybody says, there's the best, right?" He said he threw me a tube, and I went to the hotel and put it on all over my back, and literally within less than a minute, like the muscles were not seized anymore. I took a shower, put some more on. It has. The cool thing about LOMD is that it's not a masker of pain. It's not a numbing agent. It's a tissue repair cream. It actually heals the tissue from the inside out. And dude, I have that same 32-ounce bottle. I have freaking tubes everywhere. I drink it. I sleep in it. I take showers.
I said slather.
Brush my teeth in it.
Is it not slather?
Is it lather? I think it's lather.
I said slather. Anyway, so enough about LOMD. They're great. Enter the giveaway. Yep. Get the Dayne paddle. Get the 30-minute private lesson. I mean, that's like next level. Dayne, which ProXR paddle do you play with?
I am playing with this baby when they get to my house. The Carbon 10.5 Carbon, pure Carbon ProXR. It just is exactly what it's a tiny bit longer than the paddle I was using before. It's a little bit thinner, a tiny bit softer, which I love.
How many millimeters?
Is that for sale? Is that for sale right now? That paddle?
It will. It's not yet. It will be. Yeah. This is
10.5 millimeters.
It's 10.5. It's skinny.
That's thinner. That's thinner than the Electrum Pro.
The Electrum's 11.
Yeah,
I believe.
It is.
And normal paddles are 14, 16, right? They have 14, 16. I believe other brands 14, 16.
Warrior,
they're just too thick. They're just too thick for me. I like the skinnier. It still has a lot of pop. So that's the paddle I'm playing with. I just think, but again, like you said, they're innovating and they're creating a ton of different paddles for different levels of players and experiences. Make sense?
It makes sense.
I don't like dead air. I did radio for 10 years. I hate dead air. When you guys don't say anything,
you get nervous.
That gives me heebie-jeebies. I break out. Yeah, I start breaking out in hives.
Let me see if there's any other interesting questions.
They don't have to be interesting. Rick Witzkin didn't ask an interesting question.
This person said, "You're for sure a top 5 senior."
Thank you. I am. I'm hoping I'm top 9. That was awesome. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate that.
Why not make 9. All gold medal matches best of 5 or 7?
For us or for open, they could. They are at the PPA level, right?
Best of 7 feels long.
5 of 7. 3 of 5. 4 of 7.
No,
best of 4.
No, best of 5 or 7.
Well, they are, right?
Or best of 7.
Not
PPAs are. The APPs aren't. That's the question you have to ask the organizers of that. The challenging part is, like, I think what Ben has experienced, what he experienced this weekend is if you're good enough to get into at least 2 of them, he's good enough to get into 3 of them. You're playing back-to-back 3 out of 5s. Like, that's crazy town, or at least like you only get a match break in between. I think that's nuts. I think there has to be a way of spreading that out a little bit. I would love 3 out of 5 gold. We did that when we were playing PPA. We did that a couple of times. It's interesting.
Controversial. In your mind, how close or who wins the APP versus the PPA?
APP. Long term. I just think they're different. I think they're deeper. I think their vision. Now PPA is never going to let me enter another tournament, but that's okay, because when the Connors hear me say that, they're gonna. I may not get paid from TOC.
They're pretty open. They're pretty open-minded guys, I think.
I hate even answering that question because I just don't know. I don't know, right? And I'm not I'm biased now, right? I'm biased. I play more of the APPs, and we're going to have a Champions Tour also. We're going to have our own tournaments where we're not, in those APPs or PPAs as well. I don't know. I think it's different. I just think they're different. I can't tell you that I know. I would be stupid to tell you that I know.
I like this.
I think the APP is deeper right now. The PPA is top heavier, but the APP is deeper.
I like this. I'm a big fan of split age. We see it at the U.S. Open. I don't know if we see it at other tournaments. I've only seen
Nationals. Nationals is having another split age. That's my favorite event, more than men's. and women's. I think the split H probably more for us. We get to play with them versus them playing with us. I think it's amazing. I think it's just great. I think it's the energy is different. You get different matchups. You get to play with different player. You get to make new friends. Like I played with Callie at the U.S. Open. Now freaking Callie's one of my favorite women pros on tour. I freaking didn't know how cool she was, and we got along like instantly, and I freaking love her. And I never would have known that and gotten to know her if we didn't play side by side.
Dan, you could actually play with Jared.
Yeah, what about split?
I could play with Jared.
What about why? Because of split.
Yeah, split A. You guys could play together.
What about split? What about split level?
Yeah, I mean,
Dayne, how fun would it be for us to play a tournament together? I mean, come on, how much fun would that be?
It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun. Hang on, let me text somebody and tell them the truth. No,
it would be number one.
It would be number one
on a scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
We have Nicholas Wittendorf. Love your Facebook post and advice, Dayne.
Thanks, Nicholas. Appreciate it.
This is gonna be an interesting one.
Okay. Oh God. He knows that's a setup. That's a setup. I think Duper is doing good things for the game. I think they're trying to grow the game.
So a little backstory. I've asked Dayne if he could beat certain players.
Are you really doing this out loud right now?
All right, we won't do it. We won't go there.
I don't care. You can do it. Like I think for us, senior pros, the Duper for Dave and I specifically, I believe is too low. My USPA is a 6.3, I think, and my Duper is lower, not even a 6. But I think the way Duper works, we can never be 6s because we're not playing against pros, right? Unless Dave and I play more pro events. Outside of that, Dave Wilcox for the setup. I think again, they are trying to think differently and be different and trying to make things happen differently. And I think for that, I just think they're just gonna tighten it up and make it better and better. But I've seen some Duper ratings that are 6.4. The dudes don't even play anymore. Like, how can you be a 6.4 and you're not even playing tournaments? You're not doing anything. And I just think something needs to be done about that. I don't necessarily love that you can record your rec games because I don't play rec to win, right? I play rec to experiment, and I don't win very many rec games ever. I'm a terrible rec game winner. And I don't think that should go against my Duper.
Dayne, when was the last time you walked out to a rec game, a true rec game, just out to a park where you weren't, the center of attention?
A month ago, I walked into Simi Valley, where all my old school guys that kicked my ass and taught me how to play. I walked out of there randomly and just started playing. But it's usually I train more and drill more than just show up and play rec. I think there's value to it. I think it can be really fun. But from where I am, the time I spend on the court, like I'm so OCD, like so anal about playing that. Unless it's with my daughter or my wife or super close friends, I rarely go and play hit and giggle rec.
Yep.
I think it's fun. I think it would be great.
Anything else? Anything else you want to touch on? Any questions for us?
I just want to keep like pounding down the throats of everybody that's growing. Like, stick to your unique gifts and your superpowers and try not to look the way the game's going. It's getting faster, right? It's just getting faster. I don't care if you like it or not. It's irrelevant whether you like it or not. Be unemotional. The game's getting faster. Figuring out what that means for your game, right? You can sit and dink and drop and do that the rest of your life if you like. But if you're a tournament player or you're somebody that really wants to improve, you're going to have to learn how to play a little quicker, but do that within the confines of your superpowers and your unique gifts. You don't have to be Colin or Ben or Matt and do the scorpion or pancake. Do it your own way. If you want to drive every third and attack every fifth, do it, but learn how to do it correctly. And just stay out of the box of what people tell you can't do and what you shouldn't do, right? And I always talk about, like, do you. Always do you. And do not hang around with people that diminish you for doing you, period. There are too many people on the planet and too many pickleball players on the planet that you have to spend 1 minute around anybody that keeps pulling you down and diminishing you for doing Doing you. I think it's just really important. I hear every day from somebody, this person doesn't think I should do this.
I think I just lost my doubles partner.
I just wrote that note down. I just think it's really important to lean into who you are, as long as you're aiming towards some type of faster-ish game, if you want to grow that way. But, dude, get away from the people that are just negative. And, you know, there's the cliche thing, right? We are who we hang with. So you hang with negativity and people that don't want you to grow. Sorry, Jason. Jared, you guys are splitting up. Jason, I'll join you in the kitchen.
Next year, 2023. It's going to be golden.
Dayne, where can people find you? I know you do video stuff. Are you still taking new clients? What clinics do you have? For those who don't know, Dayne does this really unique thing where he will get on. You can kind of set up your phone to record your game, and you have an earpiece in, and he kind of walks you through a game. It's highly unfair. I don't understand how anyone thinks that that's kosher, but it's cool. He said he was going to do it for me once, and we never did it. So I don't know. I can't speak firsthand, but I know it's cool.
Well, I mean, you have to get to a 3-3 first. All right.
I'm a 4-3. For everyone out there, I'm a 4-3.
The pandemic forced my hand really in this, right? And got me off the court. And I said, hey, dude, we got a phone. We got FaceTime. We got Bluetooth earbuds. Like, we could use that. I'm FaceTiming you right now. Why can't I FaceTime you while you're on the court? You have earbuds in. Why can't you put up a tripod and let me be in your rec game with you, right? You're in freaking New York and I'm in California and I'm watching you play rec. And I can, coach you through your rec game. It doesn't disrupt the rhythm. Your opponents don't hear it. Your partner doesn't have to hear it if you don't want him to, or you can split earbuds and have both of you listening. And it's just like, it was just because of the pandemic, let me try something cool. And then it just was like, holy crap. Like, I can work drilling sessions with that. I can work your rec games with that. And again, like, your opponents don't hear anything I'm saying, and I'm not going to stop the rhythm of the match. I'm just going to talk to you as if I was your partner in between points. And it just kind of gives you an insight on what we're thinking and what you should be thinking and the shot selections that you should be trying. I could not do that in real life. Like, unless all four of you agree that I can be there talking out loud, when I'm talking in person and doing that, it disrupts the rhythm of the point, right? Unless everybody's in a clinic. But this way I can talk to you privately and it doesn't hurt anybody. Yeah, you might feel self-conscious, or your opponents might. They hear, or they don't see me or hear me. So they're just playing their normal rec game, but you're getting a lesson with it.
I love it.
Kind of cool.
Gene Osakowicz asked, if you're not successful in 2023, will it be because of your paddle or your partner?
Will it be because of paddle or partner? It will be because of me and my lack of training. That is everything that happens to you is because of you. No, dude, if you're blaming somebody else, stop. Jason, you and I are going to take over the kitchen, right? If he's not going to hold himself.
Let's do it. I got the passwords.
Let's go.
Someone wants the link of the medical cream, Jason. Sorry, I know it's late on Eastern time. Just go to is it AlloMD? Let's see. Let's find the site.
Yep, allomd.com.
allomd.com. They have.
You want a code? Put in Coach Dayne for some percentage off, and good to go.
Coach Dayne, and you may as well just get the 32-ounce pump because you're going to want it. I guarantee it.
Might as well. Yeah,
it's next
go
level.
Through that stuff.
Any other thoughts before we sign off? And I started thinking, like, we should maybe be doing this weekly and just like
unpack. Why aren't we? At least bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, unpacking the state of pickleball and the happenings. And
Dayne, what I want to do is take one of these lunch games that Jared and I have played and just break it down with you and help us sort out some stuff. And you'll see the eye rolls are very clear. The body language is atrocious.
Yeah, from him.
Well, I'm not going to say from him.
Not always me. It's not. I'm not gonna hear negativity and hurtful comments right now. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna hear it.
I know. Well, I thought we were going to do this more regularly, and then you got all crazy busy with the kitchen. Thought we were going to do Dayne's brand. Thought we were going to do weekly or bi-weekly breakdowns. Jason,
what I want to know is, for the people listening, would you be down to tune in every 2 weeks to listen to a breakdown of Dayne on relevant matches and topics? Feel free to comment. If you don't comment, that's a no, and we won't do it.
I would love to do a reset with you too, Jason. So you're not just doing it solo, breaking it down. Like I did that with Colin on their site, he and Ben's site. It was freaking fantastic. You do it a little differently. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, maybe we'll touch base tomorrow, perhaps. Got a couple of things to show you.
Okay.
And we have one last question. And as the one guy just wrote F yes. So wow, we're getting a lot of yeses. Bi-weekly would be awesome. Well, as you answer this question, we'll see how many yeses come through. And the question was, would you listen to more of this every 2 weeks? That's not the question. The question was here from Asia Rose. Any advice for new players joining pickleball for recreation?
Hey, Asia. First off, just for the brand new players, I wouldn't get caught up into the winning or losing thing. For the brand new players, it should all be about how can I have the most fun, learning the foundation, right? And this is what we say. The brand new players, we got to learn the foundation of our thirds and our dinks, right? Our third drops and our dinks. We learn that foundation, and then we can start speeding up as we go. But most importantly, the first thing that came into my mind with brand new players is if you're not laughing, you shouldn't be playing. Right? If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be playing, period. And then all how to do the strategy and what shot to hit here and there will naturally come. Dude, if you're not laughing all the time and playing, if you're getting pressured by other people, if you're getting coached, like this is a hot topic for me. If you're getting coached, if people are coaching you and you're not asking them to, right? And they're telling you what to do and you're not asking them to, they need to go. Like you need to put a shirt, I already have a coach, right? Walk away from those people. You should never have to deal with that as a new player unless you are soliciting that advice.
All right. So amazing. We got like 15 yeses, a few F yeses. Absolutely. So maybe every 2 weeks I can commit to that.
I can bring it to the hotel. I can do it from the hotel. Right.
And I like it. You know, it's not stressful. We don't have to write a big agenda. We just kind of shoot the shit and see what happens. People ask questions and we go from there. But I guess it's time to wrap it up, to say goodbye. I always miss you when we stop talking.
Hugs and kisses. We got to get back on this. I stopped texting you because you just don't text me back anymore. You never text me back anymore. I got the logo coming. I'm going to have the logo, kitchen logo here. I'm going to have the LOMD logo here. Got ProXR on this shoulder, whatever, at the hat. Like, go get your ProXR 10.5 carbon fiber, baby. Come on. That sucker put that thing right in your hand. Where's the camera? Right in your hand. It's beautiful.
So yeah, thank you ProXR for asking us to do this, and Dayne for taking the time. You are one of my favorite people in the sport, even when I don't text you back. And thank you to everyone who tuned in, the kitchen community and whoever else might be listening. You guys are the best. Love the sport and excited to keep growing it with everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. Good time, guys. We'll do this again. Let's get back on here.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.